Hello and welcome to another Lord of the Rings Rise to War video. I am the player who plays as the King Under the Mountain, and today I would like to make a short video in regards to the new fort system. I think I'm going to keep it very simple, easy to use, and it might involve a little bit of the movement system also, but predominantly the fort system. So at the moment I am fighting at a tunnel over here. I have just taken a hit, I think. Yep, so we've just killed this army, so we need to reinforce shortly. And this is one of the things in the game that I think the new fort system is something whereby they've listened to the player base, listened to the fact that they were talking about long reinforcing times for war, and they've come up with a solution. Now, whether they already had this solution when they thought about it, it remains to be seen. Hopefully, they did have this in mind beforehand, but if not, it shows that they've listened to the player base and now they are interested in what we want to do. Now, annoyingly, I was hoping to be able to show you the reinforce from the tile. So we've took the tile, and then we've ended up dead because we've hit someone who's actually quite a decent player, to be fair to him. And we were sort of half full. But it doesn't stop me showing what I wanted to show. So I will speed recall myself back to the fort and wait my 10 minutes. So here is the new fort system. I will show you the fort system and then I'll show you the tactical fort system. So firstly, once your fort is fully upgraded, as you can see here, I've got a barracks now inside my fort, which is quite an exciting change, to be honest, from where things were originally. So if I just cancel the reinforcements that are on the way, I think I can do that, because I don't actually need as many now. Yes, so I can cancel those. Okay, so I'm at my fort, and in the past I would have had to press reinforce, and I'd have had to reinforce from my settlement, and it would have been a 12-minute 49 reinforce. Now, what I can do now is, even if I wasn't dead, it would be a lot better to do this, but I can reinforce from the barracks, which you can now place inside your fort, which I think is a massive change for this game and one that is much for the positive. So literally, if I reinforce from my fort, it takes away some of my fort balance, which is here. I can press that tick. It costs me nothing to reinforce if I'm inside my fort now. I'm now completely reinforced. I can do this from anywhere within the fort range. It'll just do it like a normal reinforce. And then from here, I can check out my barracks to see what's actually in there. So I've got 3,883 Guardians left. I can take that down if I want to and sort of replenish that barracks with something else. But in this case, I'm going to use the transport feature and I'm going to press this little plus button here. I'm going to select Guardians. I'm going to press OK because then they're coming from my settlement to my fort. And I'm going to choose a troop to bring it over. Just a small note, this cannot be a flying troop. So it has to be a commander with a sort of ground troop on, whatever that might be. It can be horses, it can be large units, it can be small units, whatever you want it to be, but they cannot fly. It costs 20 stamina for the commander to bring them. Yes, they can be sniped on the way, which I think is quite interesting also. But in 12 minutes time now, my fort will be full barracks, which I think is a really good change. So if I wasn't dead, I could now reinforce, start moving again, and in 12 minutes time, my entire army can be wherever I want, and I can refill again straight away from my barracks. Personally, I see this as a great solution to sort of solving issues of how far away from your settlement that you're fighting, because you can kind of load that up. It's not ideal because at the moment I'm only using one commander in there, to which I can refill wholly once, and I can refill probably a couple of times half inside that 12-minute period. So if you were fighting further afield, I probably wouldn't recommend the fort so much, but when your reinforce is less than half an hour, I think now what they've done with forts is a really viable option to keep war going for a long period of time. The other type of fort, and I haven't actually built one of these yet, but I believe it works in the same way, is a tactical fort. So a tactical fort basically involves a 4 tile radius, to which, to my knowledge, you don't need to own all 4 tiles. You just need space for the 4 tiles. It then builds. They're quite expensive, but it then builds this large fort called a tactical fort. Now, this can house up to, I think it's about 90% of your actual barracks, which is pretty impressive in itself. So you can literally move, say if you're fighting over half an hour away in a completely different front. So if I just show you our map here, I'm stationed here, but actually we could be fighting over here. So I could build a tactical fort here, move 50% of my barracks here and an army there, and I could keep replenishing it like a fort from my settlement every time I got new troops. But it'd allow me to fight on 2 fronts at the same time. You are only allowed 1 of these tactical forts, but to be fair to it, you can put in it multiple troop types. You can change your commanders, so you can actually change your formation. You can bring different commanders from your settlement. You can remove them from a formation, change the troop type. You can literally work it like a mini settlement. And it doesn't have any of the restrictions, as you can see here, because this one's literally against the mountain range. Whereas if you were trying to build a 3x3, you wouldn't be able to build it here because you can't attach them to a wall. I personally see this as a great addition to the game. I think they are clever. I think it involves some new tactics. I think the devs have really thought that one through. The other good thing about these forts is that when your barracks is in there, what we were concerned about at the start is if the fort gets destroyed when your barracks is in there or hit when your barracks is in there and they're not attached to a commander, we thought it might kill your troops. And thankfully it works like your settlement, whereby if the troops are not attached to an army, they don't die, they just go back to your settlement. So I think that's really well thought out. I just wanted to touch on it because I know some players haven't played the new season or haven't seen this fort, and I know some players have left the game due to the fact that it takes a long time to get to the front sometimes, or a long time to reinforce, and they get a bit bored because there's these 10-minute tile timers and things like that if you're in someone else's land. I personally think this is a great way of getting players back into the game who haven't, and a great adjustment for the future. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you liked it. I am very conscious that I don't want to turn into one of these people, but I have recently applied to be a fearless pioneer for the game because I like creating content for it, and provisionally I have been accepted. I just need a few more subscribers to make that happen from their side. So if you do like the content, please subscribe. In the meantime, they've also given me, like a lot of the other content creators to be honest, a top-up link whereby if you spend through the website and if you go through my link, which I will leave in the description of this video, it helps the channel, it helps me do what I do, it helps my time, and my plan, to be honest, is to probably put the amount that I get through that link back into the game through either a couple of Mathams, to be honest with myself, but also in giveaways for people, because I think it's important that if people give to this community that we manage to give it back. So I think that also will help the channel grow. So that was kind of my brief introduction to the new fort system. I think it's really good. I think they're bringing through a lot of good changes at the moment. So sort of, if you did move away from the game a little bit, please check it out. Yes, the tile time is annoying, but they are, I think, trying to make it more of a playable game and more interesting. So as always, if in doubt, always follow your nose.